culture and Shastra, he came in contact simply by seeing Sudra and Shudrani embracing in public. His mind became infatuated. So much so he couldn't get the thought out of his mind. It was haunting his mind. And then by that, because it explains, Dayato Vishayam Punsam, Sangha Sanjay Sanjayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kama, Kama Kroda Vijayate, Kroda Bhavati Samoham, Samoham Shriti Brahma, Shriti Brahmasa, Buddhinasa, Buddhinasa, Pranashiti. By contemplating sense objects, one develops attachment for those objects. And by that attachment, what happens? Lust arises. From lust, anger. Because lust can never be fulfilled, so anger comes. From anger, the mind becomes deluded. From delusion, bewilderment, the mind becomes confused. And from bewilderment of memory, intelligence is lost. When intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material energy. So Krishna consciousness movement depends on strong intelligence. Keeping the intelligence sharp in order to practice Krishna consciousness in an effective way, because the soul's medium with the Supreme Lord is executed in the form of keeping the intelligence fixed on what we say transcendental activities. In other words, using your intelligence to engage in devotional service. That's Rupa Goswami's first principle, Utsahan. He says, endeavor with intelligence. The mind is restless, chanchala, chanchala hi mana Krishna, pramati balava druha, tashyaham kamamanye, vayor idam saduskaram. Arjuna gives the example. The mind is so restless. It's chanchala, always accepting something, rejecting something else. Oh, I should talk to this lady. No, I shouldn't talk to her. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Back and forth, right? Sankalpa vikalpa. Accepting, rejecting. Accepting, rejecting. Intelligence, when it's purified through the process of accepting the instructions of the spiritual master and the scriptures and applied in the practice of devotional service, keeps the restless, what we say, accepting and rejecting mind controlled and geared towards the activities that are, what we say, beneficial for one's progress in spiritual life. So these are some principles that are, what we say, required in order not to be victimized by the material energy. Maya comes in different ways. For a devotee, she doesn't come full-blown. She comes in a subtle way. The karmis are getting hit by Maya constantly because that's their desire. Maya is just like, when you go out and you see how much the karmis are more or less associated with the material energy, you just see, oh, this foolish materialist. Look how ignorant they are. But for a devotee, Maya doesn't work like that. Maya is more subtle. In that subtle, she causes one to gradually lose one's intelligence and, what we say, determination by creating little opportunities for sense gratification that seem to be innocent. But gradually pull the mind and the intelligence away from, what we say, transcendental understanding, and bring one back to you on the mind, on the material level. Intelligence is lost. So, Prabhupada said, be conscious, be cautious. Conscious and cautious. Conscious of Krishna, cautious of the material energy. You have to, there's both are required. This material energy is endlessly mutable, always changing, and always full of surprises. So, any questions? I can go on and read some more, but I was just going to see if there's a question. Yes.
I wondering, what is it that makes a person go to the Grihastha ashram?
Well, what makes a person go to Grihastha ashram? There are different reasons. It's not like there's one reason. The tendency, that tendency is there. Celibacy is a great austerity. In fact, it's the greatest of all austerities. Of course, there's celibacy in Grihastha ashram, but it's not understood in the same way. Restriction with association of women is a great austerity. To give up that association is the greatest. Even those who are materialists, who practice celibacy, it is explained, can reach Brahmaloka. That's not even a devotee. So it's the greatest austerity to remain free from the attraction and the association of the opposite sex. Very difficult. So to go to the Grihastha ashram, you might say, is the way of the world. Very few persons take the other routes. Usually about 85 to 90%, even in our movement, are Grihasthas. And it's the normal way to practice Krishna consciousness. This is a declaration against Maya. Well, what makes Grihastha ashram, what we say, more of an option is that lack of training in brahmacharya. When there's not sufficient, or what we say, qualified training in brahmacharya ashram, the tendency will be not to find the happiness and the progress in brahmacharya ashram. So one will look, okay, I'll make more progress there. So we need good brahmacharya training. Very good, strict brahmacharya training. And it's nectar. When I first joined, I joined in New Vrindavan in 1973, and we had a brahmacharya ashram, which was a house away from all the rest of the community. You had to walk 2 miles into the woods to get to it. It was up on a hill, and it was just away from everything. And of course, we weren't so expert at being brahmacharya, but at least we were away from everybody else. So I stayed there for years, and we had, that kind of association. So we had that freedom from what we say distraction in the form of women, where we could focus more on our concentrated devotional activity. So what makes a person go to Grihastha ashram? Not only the lack of training, proper training in brahmacharya ashram, or it's just that tendency. Not everyone's suited for brahmacharya, but everyone should have the opportunity to try brahmacharya with a sufficient program for training and development, just to give that soul an opportunity to see if they can make it in that ashram. And that's where we might say there's a question of what do we do? When you have proper training, then even if you decide to become a grihastha, you'll actually have better chance in that ashram as grihastha, where there's proper brahmacharya training.